Thanks for joining us and welcome into the Rochester Press Box as we celebrate the beginning of the Buffalo Bills season in the NFL and the first show of our 12th season.
12
Not
years?
too darn bad.
Which is weird because we got canceled in season 8, so nobody's even seeing this right now.
Don't see
All right, so let's talk in a general sense, and we're going to, our second block is going to be, we'll be joined by Greg Connors, and we're going to talk picks and point spreads and all the rest of this. In a general sense now, as the Buffalo Bills start their season, what are you looking for?
Win week one. I mean, it's very simple. It's the fact that they win week one. They get all this hype on the Jets behind them. They will go out there, put on a great performance, and then cruise to the NFL playoffs. And why is he so upset about it? Isn't that what you want?
How do you infuriate me in the first sentence?
Oh, so you want the Bills to lose?
No,
Is that what you really want to do?
I don't want
I
the
haven't even
Bills to
introduced
lose.
you guys yet. You've already got him on.
He's already mad. I was like, I think you're going to the Super Bowl. Oh my God, his head's gonna explode.
Oh,
Look,
yeah, okay,
look,
I don't
see,
like that either.
see,
I don't like
see?
any of this stuff.
Like,
No, look. I would like to win this game, and we're going to talk about it in a sec on Monday night, obviously. But I feel like there are too many people that have decided that if the Bills lose this game, the season is completely over.
Really?
And it's not. Well, look, they're going to base the entire season on this first game, which we've seen within division. You had a stat the other day, the Bills have gone
15-3
in the last 3 seasons. They lost 2 divisional games last year. Back-to-back divisional games
It's
last
set up bad for the Jets to lose this game week one. Why? Because you've got defensive players claiming they could be the greatest defense of all time. You've got a quarterback who's trying to prove that the Green Bay should have held on to him. He still got gas.
But you don't have to hop to the end of the season right off, with a very
For the
first sentence.
Bills, you really need to go deep into the playoffs. Even Duffy will not say that right now because he's a Bills fan. I can say it as a Giants fan. This is one of those win or lose type seasons.
Every season's a win or lose. What else is there? You're going to tie every game?
No, time out for the Buffalo Bills. You haven't been at this point in the last, 7 to 8 years to where you are right now.
What do you mean?
You have to be in the Super Bowl.
No, you don't have. Oh my God.
Yes, you do.
Well, let me roll this out just as a matter of it's trying to keep the scope maybe a little more narrow than whether or not we're in, 19 weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
the Super
thank
Bowl
you.
is.
Thank you,
Is,
Bill.
Great.
the New England Patriots built a dynasty around a division that was weak,
Mm-hmm.
that they beat up on, and they got a good seeding. This year, the last thing that I read came from SB Nation that ranked the teams that were most likely to win the Super Bowl. 3 of the top 7 came from the AFC East. This doesn't do them any favors.
But here's the thing. I think that's obscene. I think that, sure, on paper they look great. The Eagles, however many years ago, on paper looked great when they brought in Vince Young and Mike Vick and all those guys, right? Not the awesome one. Look, roll the ball out at the 50-yard line, and let's see what on paper looks good. Because you got questions about Tua Tagovailoa as the quarterback in Miami. We found out when he's not there, that offense does not work. There are massive questions about the Jets that nobody wants to ask right now. I saw someone pick the Bills 4th in the AFC East.
What?
Yeah, on Fox Sports. 4th in
that's
the
somebody
AFC
just
East.
trying to get some attention.
I have not seen a person on ESPN pick the Bills to win the AFC East in 2 weeks, which is fine. I get that the league is better when New York has teams that are successful.
I don't
and you wanna hype
I don't
that up.
believe they mean that. I think these are people that are just trying to have an adverse opinion because you can't build a logical argument against the Bills winning this division.
I agree
Not
with you.
a 13-4 record necessarily, but they're gonna win the division.
Look, who's got a better quarterback? Let's be sincere. And this is not a homer take. Is Aaron Rodgers better than Josh Allen? No. Is Tua Tagovailoa better than Josh Allen? No. Do I even need to say the name Mac Jones? I do not. And when you look at that defense, yes, you lost Tremaine Edmonds. You are now going to have Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, the best safety tandem in the NFL, back together again. You have 3 corners that are so good, they cannot figure out who to start opposite Tre'Davious White. You're going to get Von Miller back in week 5, and ideally he stays healthy for the whole season. And Matt Milano is arguably one of the best linebackers in the NFL. What am I missing here?
I don't know what you... Go ahead.
I just only because you touched on it.
Yes.
How important is this first game? This particular matchup in New York, Monday night, Game 1.
I think it's very important to smack everybody back to reality. To Duffy's point, I still think the Bills are going to win the game. I think they're going to win the game by a touchdown, if not a little bit more than that, because the Jets need to get adjusted. This is not a team that they played, a quarter against the Giants? We don't know what that offense is going to look like all the way through. Plus, it's a defense. Granted, it's a very dangerous defense. It's a very good defense. But, I mean, listen, the Buffalo Bills offense was great last year. I think they'll continue with this year. I think the offense for the Jets is the most important thing, and I don't think week 1 they're going to have everything going great. You'll get to relax at the end of this game, and the Jets will be fine going forward, but they're not going to win.
Significance of this first match?
I mean, look, I want it because I'm a fan. I want it because I want to see all the stuff that's been going on.
So just say they're going to win. Just say they're going to win.
No, I mean, I think they're going to win, obviously. But if the Bills drop a divisional game opening day with 16 more games to go, I'm not freaking out about it, especially on the road in prime time.
True. All right, so we're going to get into our predictions next. Greg Connors is going to join us. This is the Rochester Press Box. We'll be right back.
I say they're going to win. He gets mad.
Just Passing Through, J-Mac, Soccer Sam Fantuzzo, Loretta Scott, Joe Beard, 29 in all, life lessons from notable Rochesterians. Available now.
I have some travel books, Volume 1, Volume 2. You'll be able to get one of these books for free when you buy the new Volume 2 for only $14.95. Contact me at MikeTheGetawayGuy@gmail.com.
Our Buffalo Bills segment brought to you by Connors of Ferris, your trusted and dedicated workers' comp attorneys and proud sponsor of Buffalo Bills Training Camp.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Our Buffalo Bills and NFL Pick segment is brought to you by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Greg is here. Greg Connors, nice to have you.
Thanks.
And you're going to be a regular on this segment, which is great.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're picking. Let's get right down to it. We got the Bills playing the Jets at New York. Buffalo's a 2.5-point favorite. How do you see it?
Yeah, this year I've got the Bills going 13-4. Unfortunately, I see one of their losses being that opening weekend down in New York. So I'm unfortunately with the points, I'm going to have to go with the Jets.
That's a tough thing going week to week. I mean, if you break down the whole schedule and try to pick all that, I mean, you're really deep into it.
I'm deep into it, and I'm doing my research, and I'm ready for the season. I can't wait.
All righty, secondary game. Any other game in the NFL schedule against the points? Well, who you got?
I've been looking at the schedule for this week, and I think there's a great game out on the West Coast. I think we've got the Chargers and the Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins are going to beat them.
All right, the line on that was what we said, 2.5. They're
2.5, yeah, 3.5. I think on the run, and I think 2.5 with the way we're spreading.
We're gonna play 2.5, and you're taking.
I'm taking the Dolphins plus 2.5.
All righty, so we're gonna have a little competition here. We got Duffy and Tariq to come in with their picks, and I got mine, and we'll determine stakes later. I thought I'd give myself a few weeks to see how I actually do, and then we'll see how serious things get. Greg Connors, thank you very much for your picks, and good luck this week.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to being here for the rest of the year.
Yeah. And here's how Greg Connors rolls. This is him on an airplane to the Super Bowl, sitting beside Sauce Gardner. And if that's not enough, Greg pretends not to know who Sauce Gardner is. And he does know him.
You guys haven't flown on a plane with Sauce Gardner?
I just think, a picture is 1,000 words. All right, we got Bills 2.5 is the line. Get into it. What do you think? The Bills are giving 2.5 at New York.
Yeah, like I said before, I think the Bills will win by 7, if not more. I just think they're a better offensive team. They've got better cohesion. The Jets are still pushing it all together. You throw in Dalvin Cook, who is a great weapon, still taking some snaps from Hall. There's still no chemistry yet. You got a long season. I think the Jets will be fine, just not week 1.
2.5.
2.5. I like the Bills on the 2.5. The loss in New York last season, they were without starting the game Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Matt Milano, and they lost Tremaine Edmonds in the middle of that game, and the Jets still beat them by a field goal, and Josh's arm almost fell off. I'm fine with what happened.
Don't believe the hype. I get it. Hard Knocks, all that crap. First of all, HBO's got to take their show back, for crying out loud. Please.
Well, you talking about the Aaron Rodgers show?
Yes, please. My goodness.
I look at this as I like the way the schedule's set up for them. I think if you had to play the Jets in New York, the best time to do it was opening day. So I like the Bills to cover on 2.5. Secondary game.
Listen, you're gonna think I'm crazy for this. I like the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what it is. They're going to take on the Chargers. I get it, to travel, but there's also been some questions about Tua. We're gonna find out very early on whether or not he's got a lot of weapons. If Tua is good, plays well, and uses those weapons, that's gonna be a dangerous shootout again. I just don't believe in the Chargers at all. There's something's missing there. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Yeah, what do you got?
Denver is favored by 3.5 against Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas wins that game straight up outright. Why is Sean Payton showing up in Denver? What does that change about anything where you're getting half a point while still at home? Yeah. Vegas outright.
And then the Raiders come in to open with the Bills.
So they'll be
Buffalo.
And they'll be 1-1.
I like the Jacksonville-Indianapolis game. I'm going to give the 4.5 to the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be okay with their new quarterback later in the season. They're a train wreck right now. I think Jacksonville kind of rolls.
No running back there, rookie quarterback. It could be a disaster, but let's see if this kid can actually.
So those are our picks. We got 3 on the Bills side. Greg with the Jets. We have another game. We'll keep track of these records, and good luck, boys. So decide what the stakes are. I said earlier when we see how I'm doing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I think a tattoo might be involved.
How about just a jacket that fits?
I'm out.
Oh, what did I say? What? I'm making suggestions,
My
guys.
goodness, no 13th season.
That fits 2 Bills.
Oh, that hurts. That's our segment picking the scores. That really does hurt.
I know you look great. I'm just
stop.
You're so handsome.
Stop.
What a handsome man.
By the way, 13. What's the story behind this?
Gabe Davis, obviously, the angel Gabriel Davis.
All right.
And the season we won't get to after that segment. Right
Okay,
now.
those are our picks. The segment brought to you by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys, like it or not, Spence.
Here's the Press Box Trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road.
Hey, hello again. Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. Are you ready for one of the most amazing getaways here at Niagara Falls, USA? Come along for the ride. It's Cave of the Winds. Look for the Getaway Guy on Facebook.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Getting it together. The jacket isn't that.
You look great, Bill.
The
You
Like It or
started
Not
this.
segment is brought to you, yes he did, by Sport Clips. How's my hair look? Where the MVP experience is better than ever. Sport Clips, it's a game changer. No appointments needed. Stop by a Rochester location today. Tariq, like it or not, Deion Sanders wins his opener with Colorado.
Loved it. And listen, by the time this airs, the Nebraska game will be over. But you can't tell me you weren't going to tune in for that game. I don't know what the ratings were for last Saturday. I'm sure they were huge. Bigger for Nebraska. Remember, that's a home game for Colorado. So I don't know what happened in the game. But you can't tell me. First week out, before the NFL season, the only thing people are talking about is Deion Sanders, and his son is unbelievable.
Ooh.
Shador Sanders could put in that early MVP voice. Now, we know 5 weeks from now that could change, but my goodness, that was an exciting game, and he kept receipts.
That win is so significant that if Colorado loses every game for the rest of the season, they have had a better season than they did last year. And that's not hyperbole. That is a statement of fact.
Am I the only one that still has a bad taste from the way he marched into Colorado and dismissed
Let me ask you a
everybody
question.
that was associated with that team?
Let me ask you a question. Would you keep anybody from a team that was 1-11 the year before, or would you totally come in with a new culture and philosophy going forward?
But these are college kids. He gave the back of the hand to a group of college kids.
And the reality is they did not perform well, which is what happens when you are on a professional college platform.
Does the
that's the problem.
portal legitimize it?
I mean, I guess it does, but yeah, those kids had an opportunity to go play somewhere else. Look, I'm with you. I still don't like the way that works out, especially when a mother and a father put their kid in the hands of a grown person to take care of them for the next 4 years while they're at college, and then all of a sudden they show up at a meeting and you're gone. I don't love it, but I mean, it is part of the game now.
And life. I hate to say that. So.
Like it or not, Penn State covers over West Virginia by scoring a touchdown with the second team in with less than 10 seconds left. Do both cover the point spread and the over-under.
Okay, so there are two things you have to know here. One, West Virginia's first-team defense was still in the game. And it's funny, Franklin, the head coach for Penn State, his argument was, well, I got to get reps to my backup quarterback. That's not why they did this at all. Every NCAA head coach knows what the betting lines are when he goes out on that field. And he's also aware that 3/4 of his big money alumni have bet on you to cover the spread. So for him to protect his job and keep the money distributors happy, he had no choice but to score that touchdown.
Wait a minute, where are the sportsmanship people, the people that come in, they would basically say, oh, we don't want to get anybody hurt, or we don't want to do this, we shouldn't worry about the betting lines.
That left the building with legalized gambling.
Oh, really? Oh, that's how convenient this is.
Well, but here's the thing. Even take away the legalized gambling, which is absolutely the reason why he did this, but take that away.
Yes.
If your first team defense can't stop a second team offense with just seconds left in the game, it's your fault for giving up that touchdown. He didn't have his starters out there. He wasn't running roughshod over backups. That's their second team. Stop them. Don't complain.
Is there a coach outside of Deion Sanders who has the stones to admit up front and says, yeah, I scored that touchdown because I wanted to cover the spread?
Well, this goes back to the reality, basically, that Deion would, I don't know if he would say that publicly. He seems to be more one of an individual worrying about what his team is doing as opposed to the other team. But I say that to say this. Would you have thought he would have been that guy before he became the head coach? Now that you see that he's a head coach and he's got a different culture and he's got a different set of players in there, basically, I've got a better roster than you, and my number 2s are better than your number 1s. Go out and prove it. That should put more on their opponent than it should be on Penn State. Football karma will come back.
But again, all of that is irrelevant because he did it only to cover the spread. Without question. Without question.
Remember, it's all about student athletes.
I Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sport Clips, and Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of the Rochester Press Box, the first of our 12th season here. Time for Unfinished Business. Pat, start us off.
Bill mentioned earlier this will be the first time in a long time that the AFC East has legitimate contenders from top to bottom. Well, minus the New England Patriots. And Bills fans, despite the fact that it might make you a little more nervous, cherish this because it's a return to the Super Bowl-esque years of the early 1990s when Jim Kelly and Dan Marino were dueling each other like crazy and the Bills always came out on top, where the Jets were doing everything they could, signing free agent quarterbacks to try and compete with the Bills and the Dolphins, and it wasn't working. And when the Patriots were in the basement because, well, they didn't have a quarterback to put them over the top. How we've won the division as the Buffalo Bills the last couple of years has been great because we didn't have it in a very long time. But you've heard the detractors that we were running, as Bill said, roughshod over a tough or easy division. Now that this division is better, and now that there's respect being given to opponents inside the AFC East of the Buffalo Bills, it's going to feel that much better when the Bills win this division by 2 games. And I'm saying it right now. Save the tape. The Bills win the AFC East by a minimum of 2 games. The Jets may have won the offseason. The Dolphins may have the most star-studded roster in the AFC. But you ain't nothing till you go take down the division champion Buffalo Bills.
Can HBO do me a favor and take their show back? I don't know what you did with this Jets season of Hard Knocks, but it wasn't the Hard Knocks we've seen before. There weren't players that I didn't know or get attached to. It was basically the Aaron Rodgers show. So basically, I will say this. For any NFL team that might be next up for Hard Knocks, can we go back to what football really is about? Guys trying to make the team, maybe drafted in the 3rd round, or a guy coming back, possibly getting cut before the final episode or airing it in the final episode. I get it. It's raw. It's real. It's television. You want to bring people in. But I had no interest in the New York Jets other than the fact that they were basically doing a nice little promotional event every single week. I have no more new respect for Robert Saleh. I have no more new respect for Aaron Rodgers. I have no more new respect for anybody except maybe Sauce Gardner. I think he's pretty cool. But other than that, the New York Jets basically gave you a nice little program package for Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks, go back to the way it was. Players coming in, coaches trying to prove something, get to a championship. Don't try to oversell us here. That was a TV show doing football. Let's do football filming a TV show.
Jasson Dominguez wears uniform number 89. It's a tight end's number, which would be fine were he not a baseball player. Finding a good number is a challenge for a New York Yankee. 28 are taken, another 23 are retired, number 8 twice. So 89, generally given to someone less impactful, will have to do for now. But Dominguez is New York's best hope to salvage something out of its 2023 Road to Nowhere tour. Earlier this month, Jasson homered in his very first Major League at-bat, the youngest Yankee at 20 years, 206 days ever to do so. This coming just a day, one day, mind you, after playing for Scranton against the Red Wings at Innovative Field. Having already been hailed as the next coming, what are the chances they send him back? And that's an important question because there's a little local history at stake here. You can only confirm this through a careful examination of box scores, but since I was actually present for all of these, we'll skip the added work. By leaving Rochester directly for the Bigs, Dominguez joins a pretty impressive roster of visiting players who have recently done the same. How's this for a list? Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, and Ronald Acuna. Playing for Syracuse, Scranton, and Gwinnett. Those 3 played their last minor league baseball game right here in Rochester. And that's before you add Hall of Famers Cal Ripken, Eddie Murray, and Stan Musial to that list, guys who wore Red Wings uniforms. There is no logical explanation for this. The chance of seeing future big league stars is part of the lure of going to baseball games in Rochester. The chance of seeing them for the last time is something special. Welcome to the club, Jasson Dominguez. Enjoy the ride. That's our unfinished business, and that is our program. Quick, 13 Yankees. The last guy to wear that.
Alex Rodriguez.
There you go.
Oh my goodness! Why'd you give him a
With
nice
no prompt.
softball one for a baseball question?
No
My
prompt.
goodness. Oh, so sad.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week with the Rochester Press Box.
What did I do? What happened?
You got it right. I can't believe it.
I don't even like baseball.
I know. That's what makes it so funny.
Surprising.
I didn't
Come
think
on, he's like the most famous Yankee in the last 20 years.